How you doing? I gotta tell you, creating those I don't know, images to start these videos, often the most confusing thing for me to do because I don't know what to put on there. Anyway, so I wanted to talk to you about what I saw in the news this morning, sort of how I think it impacts real estate market, cost of capital, consumers, all of that stuff. You know, everything we do every day. If you've been watching these channels, you know, this series of daily financial videos, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I know it's a vanity metric, but I'm doing my best to grow this channel to over 3,000. Actually, I think it's 3,500 users or subscriptions or whatever you call it today. Good morning. Thank you. You too. No Pay, No Stay Network. Have a great day, man. So I thought I would talk about what I saw. So first and foremost, for the I don't know, the headline grabbing news of kind of yesterday and today that I failed to talk about thus far is the Democrats starting this impeachment thing. Again, I'm gonna do my best to stay away from politics, claiming sides, all of that stuff. I'm just gonna ask you to remember what happened in the Bill Clinton era. So we've kind of seen this movie before. Essentially, you know, the most likely outcome of this is the House does their thing, then the Senate does their thing, and nothing happens, right? So you know, that's unless something, you know, Nixon like comes out that you know you know, Watergate kind of thing. That's the most likely scenario, and the fact that at least as of yesterday we heard that transcript that's in question is going to be released in its entirety, unredacted, certainly sounds like there's nothing there. So the other thing I would ask that we pay attention to here is if you remember, again, remember Bill Clinton, right? The Republicans at that time went after him hard, and they actually ended up losing the re-election because they looked, you know, the whole thing looked bad. So there is a lot of talk already that the Democrats in this election cycle repeating a past mistake, right? Go pick a fight in an area where there's nothing. You know, you waste time, waste money. The American public sort of punishes you for that entirely, and they could get exactly what they don't want. So just foolish, bad strategy. Um, you know, going for the headlines today and losing tomorrow. You know, just it's silly. So at the end, we're talking about real estate. We're talking about investors. So there's a couple of things. First and foremost, this certainly feels like a sideshow, smoke and mirrors. Look over here. I certainly expect lots of tweets and anger and fervor and just more stuff, but nothing happens. I do expect, I don't expect this actually to have any impact on consumers, other than it will irritate some and make others laugh. I don't think it affects consumer confidence. I don't think it impacts anybody's credit card purchases. I don't think it impacts any of that stuff. I don't think it impacts the trade war. I think it's a sideshow circus where some people will try to capitalize and make themselves look better for no apparent reason other than their own ego and the fact that politicians just want to get elected and don't really want to help anybody. The other thing I would ask you to think about is, you know, if you know, a lot of people have talked about what would happen if the president was out. Well, the vice president would take over, and I would ask some of you out there that want this: do you really want that? Is that the outcome you're looking for? So I don't know. It's just a sideshow. We're, I don't know, 14 months away from an election. Let's just get there and see if we get another four, or if you know, we go a different direction. So this just seems like a silly thing, especially since he's going to release the transcript, right? That's the big question. So that's that on that front. I don't think there's anything there. I do want to talk about WeWork. We seem to have been talking about this for quite a while now. I think I talked about it on Monday, that I thought the CEO would have to eventually step down, right? When the money, SoftBank, says we've lost confidence, it doesn't matter how much you're loved by the Silicon Valley, your days are numbered. And in this case, the days were 2 or 3. I assume he's got a golden parachute. I assume he's going to get the chairman title and all that nonsense, but he's out. And again, I just think this is another step in the direction of WeWork not going public. Certainly not going public this cycle. They've probably got to prove that they can get through a recession, which, if you listen to Sam Zell, not very likely. Because again, you sign long-term leases at the top of the market. You try to sell by the inch later. Nobody wants them. You're done, right? You go bankrupt pretty quickly. So I think WeWork's in trouble, and the CEO stepping down is just like, I give up. I'm out. There's already been a lot of other senior executives get out, so pretty interesting. It looks like Nike crushed earnings, which is just another sign that the consumer is strong. Again, Nike is not a cheap shoe brand. They offer lots of different footwear and apparel and all of that. Nobody would call them cheap. So clearly, the consumer is strong when Nike is crushing earnings. On the mortgage or on specifically on real estate, mortgage apps were down 10% as we had a spike in the 30-year mortgage rate. So you can really see that interest rate sensitivity, which is pretty interesting because again we're talking about a significant move, but still sub 4%. So it's interesting. And then the last thing I picked up is, if you really want to invest like Warren Buffett, somebody that I've acknowledged is somebody I follow and read all the time, he talks about managing your emotions, right? You have to understand your emotions, right? Both fear and greed, simply said. And that's really something that I try to talk about in the course because, again, I've invested through a cycle before, and I've seen people who claim to be ready to invest. When the market turned and then suddenly they get scared like everybody else. They talk about real estate prices falling, talk about catching a falling knife and all of these things. And their just confidence isn't there. So one of the biggest things I try to teach in the course is confidence so that when the herd runs away, you can stand confidently with your armor and know that, hey, the market has given me a deal. I'm going to execute. So those are the things that were interesting. So again, just in summary, I think the impeachment thing is a sideshow, especially since the transcript's going to be released. If for some reason the transcript isn't released and they claim national security or some other thing, there may be something there. Doesn't sound like it. Nike crushed earnings. Consumer still looks strong. Mortgage apps are sensitive to interest rate spikes. And then again, the best thing to do is understand and appreciate your emotions as an investor, both in real estate and in stocks, according to Mr. Warren Buffett. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I will make sure to talk to you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.